Hello and welcome to Filmy Ladies. Today we mark the 20th anniversary of Omkara, which our good friend Vikas just had a poll about the best 25 movies of the 21st century so far. And this came in at number one, and I have no disagreement with that.
Yeah, that was my vote for it too. I was
Was
like,
it?
how can any other movie top Omkara?
Well, I put it as number two because I put my personal fave in a that's tonally different as number one. It was Aya. No surprises.
Okay.
But every time I have only rewatched this movie a couple of times, and I know we talked about this film for our Karina episode a few years ago,
Yeah.
but it's always time to revisit Omkara. The day this podcast comes out is actually its 20th anniversary. It's hard to imagine it's this old. It feels fresh as can be, with maybe the exception of a little bit of the music. But wow, what an amazing film. And this discussion will have spoilers, yes?
Yes, for
Yeah,
sure.
don't look at my background on YouTube if you don't want any spoilers, although you can't really see what's going on. But uh, okay, and also no spoilers for a play that's 400 and some years old. So there's also that, although there is a twist in this one. Um, on this rewatch, what struck you first and foremost about the greatness of this movie?
I don't think necessarily anything new struck me, but I was just amazed at how I loved it when it came out 20 years ago, and I still really love it.
Mm.
And I'm still completely in awe of how Vishal Bharadwaj can take a story, a play that was written by William Shakespeare in England, and transport it to the hinterlands in Uttar Pradesh in like a little village. And it just completely makes sense. Like it completely works. Even the language is so perfect. Like I am a fluent Hindi speaker and I needed subtitles for this.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I had to switch on like the Hindi subtitles because I do not understand the pronunciations. And that is not
Thing.
like Hindi, that's like a dialect of Hindi.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're speaking Bhojpuri or if it's just Hindi pronounced differently, but there was so many times that I couldn't understand what Langda Tyagi was saying. Omkar, I understood everything he said, and Dolly, I understood, but some of the other people, I was like, "What are you saying?" And so I had to put the subtitles on, and then I was golden.
Wow.
But I just, it feels like such an Indian story, and it feels
Mhm.
like such a story that has like that you can read about in the news about like these gangs and these thugs, and they're doing like they're involved in local politics, and they have all these petty insecurities between them and everything. It really doesn't feel like something that was written hundreds of years ago on like a completely different continent. It's
I
amazing.
mean, this is a human nature story, right?
Yes.
Jealousy and insecurity are human nature things. So it doesn't surprise me that this can transplant at
Yeah.
all. Um, as you were speaking, it was reminding me of, I think, what a lot of people say about Ray's films is that they're very
Yes.
deeply human, and which is why they resonate with people all over the world from different time periods and cultures. And this too, I think, is deeply human. Um,
Hmm.
I was most struck this time by two things. One, obviously, this film belongs to Saif Ali Khan
Yes.
in just the most astounding way, and I want to get back to that. Even though everyone knows that we've mentioned it before several times on this podcast, but it deserves more discussion. But the other thing is the bravery of the women in this
Yes.
film. That had never struck me before, even though it's right there. But it's the women who do the most standing up for genuinely good things that are oriented towards not just themselves, but towards other people. Like Langda is brave, but he does it for selfish reasons. um, Kesu is brave in his own silly, his own way, and he just,
His naive La La Land
but
way.
it's mostly, I think, for his own what, not promotion exactly,
Furtherance.
but yeah, sort of something like that. Uh, I think Pankaj Tripathi's character has a little bit of bravery in a way, but again, it's for his own political advancement, I assume. So it's really the women in this who are the most remarkable in a way. And I think I said this before, like Dolly, Karina's character, right, Desdemona, for those who have not seen the film, would not have survived this world very long, even if the machinations hadn't happened. But to watch that just this I don't want to say she's innocent, but again, this naive person who, correct me if I'm wrong, seems to fall in love with Omi because he comes to her door after he's been shot. He like stumbles into her doorway and that's how they meet.
I don't think that's how they meet because when he comes to her door, remember they like hug
He
and then
collapses onto her, I
right,
think.
and then she's like taking care of him
Yeah.
and like, but
So how
her
did they
dad's
meet?
a but also her dad is a lawyer.
Right.
He's not like a doctor or anything. It's not
No,
like it's a general physician and you showed up at
no.
his door. I just feel like their paths kind of crossed because they live in that sort of milieu. And then
Mhm.
one day he's shot, and then he shows up at her door because he's like, she'll take care of me, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know she's like such a babe in the woods. It's like she comes on the screen with her big, innocent deer like eyes, and I'm like, oh God, you have
And
no
and
idea.
she was at least a student, and so is Keishu, but Keishu obviously
Yes.
knows a lot more about this world. Not quite enough, but more. Let's talk about Seth because we have to. Again, if you haven't seen the film, he is Iago, and this is the performance of a career for sure.
Yes.
There are the performances I like, I would say as much, but they're very different flavors. But in terms of heavy hitting performances, this is Saif Ali Khan's very, very finest. We all know that it was surprising when he was cast. I have long
Yes.
maintained I think he's at his best when he is playing characters who are duplicitous, and in that, like, none better than this, none more so than this. Like,
Agree.
and you were talking about how he pronounces the language, which I do not know what he's doing, but I can tell it's very different than how he usually speaks, right? And how
Yes.
there are what syllables that come out as S's or vice versa,
Yeah.
for which the words being pronounced differently, even to my ears. But my God, he's so astounding in this.
He's like a reptile.
Mm.
There's something so animal like about him. And I mean, Seth has always had a very interesting and distinctive bone structure, right? Like he doesn't have the face of a typical Hindi film hero. Like he has that big beak nose, and then he has the tiny little eyes that are like, deep set. And he just doesn't look like a classic Hindi film hero. And I think when he debuted with his like long hair and everything in the Ye Dilagi days, like people made fun of him. But in this film, I really noticed how the cinematography and the camera angles really highlight his beak nose, like the shadows and everything. They almost make him look like a bird of prey. Like, there's that scene during I think it's the Mendi or the Haldi, when the eagle flies by and it drops the snake in the pot of Haldi. And he almost reminded me sort of like a bird of prey. And then there's that scene where that post-coital scene between him and Konkana Sen Sharma, where she says to him, like, what kind of animal resides inside you? And he says, I'm basically a sapola, I'm a snake. And then he mentions another animal that is also like vicious. I think he mentions like a jackal or something, I don't remember. And then she corrects him and she says, no, you're a rabbit. But I love how he's so maniacal, but he just almost doesn't even seem like human. I mean, he is human, but there's like this absolute savage animal like instinct he has. Like, I love that scene. The scene lives rent free in my head, where he takes the jeweled cummerbund, like the waistband, and he puts it over his head like the crown of a mad king, and he's
Yeah.
just cackling away. And I was like,
Mm,
Caligula, Nero,
mm,
which crazy insane king are we channeling right now? Like,
right.
it's such a great like shape-shifting performance, and he is truly like one of the most reptilian, chilling villains that we see in Hindi cinema. And I love Saif in his like cute romantic movies as well, don't get me wrong. Like, I think the Saif of Ye Dilagi is adorable. I mean, he's really sneaky and two-faced in that as well, but like,
Mm,
I like Saif when he does romance. But when Saif is nasty, like in Ek Hasina Thi, for
mm.
instance, he's so nasty.
No one
He's
lies
so
as well as he does, I think.
right.
Yeah.
And he has like this like slithery quality to him, where he's gonna play dirty. He's not like a bad guy in the out and open kind of way. He's like, he's gonna do these machinations behind your back, and he's gonna smile to your face, but he's gonna stab you in the back. Like, there's no honor in his evil.
The layers of plotting in this from Iago, and I have not seen Othello recently at all, so I don't want to take away from how Shakespeare wrote it, but So I'm referring just to the version in Omkara, but the layers of plotting and how, okay, so there's that scene getting towards the end where Omkara is threatened, like, you have to tell me, is there something between Dolly and Keishu? And he's saved by the bell for a second because they go and murder some people on a train.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that's over, Omi is right back to questioning him about, and I had forgotten that scene, and he says, he'd been saying ha ya na or whatever,
Right.
and then Langda says no, and then he goes, is that what you wanted to hear? And you're like, oh, he's just so crafty. And then he goes on about, you know, what is and isn't happening, and he's such
Yeah.
a, because you think maybe he's going to tell the truth, but he's not. Of course he's not. He's going to twist his own. And the way he plays Deepak Dobriyal's character, Raju, um so well, and he plays, he plays everybody expertly. Like, he is a better leader in some ways than Omkara is.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. Like, Omkara is like the leader, and the movie's named for him. He is the titular character. He's Othello. But for all his supposed craftiness and intelligence, and oh, he's so smart, and oh, he's so heavy,
We
and oh,
don't
he's so
see it.
strong, and look at his muscles, you got outplayed by the guy that you didn't even think was good enough to be your hench dude. Like,
Right.
you, and I don't mean to take Langda Tyagi's side at all. Like, he's a terrible person. But I did question, like, in some ways, all of his anger and his jealousy comes out because he fully expected to be the Bahubali. Like, he expected
Hmm.
to be the right hand guy. And when the right hand guy was, when Vivek Oberoy's character, when Kesu was crowned, that's when he got really upset, right? Because he
Yeah.
was like, well, why not me? Why him? But also, I'm like, yes, why not him? He's smarter than Kesu. He's craftier than Kesu. He's nastier than Kesu. You know, he will do everything you tell him to do because he has zero morals. So
And he'll
why
do
would
it
you just,
perfectly.
yes.
I love
So,
that the movie opens with him as a sharpshooter.
right.
He hits his target instantly, and that tells us all we need to know.
Yeah.
Right there from the get-go. And it basically ends in a way with, there's another of his sharpshooting at the near the end as
Hmm.
well. And on this rewatch, I was just like, yeah, that just told us everything about Iago, right?
Yeah. He is the
Everything that,
smartest person
oh,
in
by
this
far.
movie. Yeah. He's smarter
Mhm.
than like Omkara. And then
Maybe not
Kesu.
smarter than Nasiruddin's character,
Right.
but other than that,
Yeah.
and I can see why, if they're concerned about getting students to vote certain ways, it does make sense to put Keshu in a certain role, but couldn't they have made two hench dudes, and one is for students and one is for everybody else? Like,
Yeah.
I wonder what Nasir, he did that on purpose, and I'm wondering what all the other reasons were in addition
Hmm.
to getting students in the election.
And there's that throwaway line also that Omkara says when I forget who asks him this, but someone says, like, if you make Kesu the Bahubali instead of Langda Tyagi, isn't he gonna get upset? And he says, Apna bhai hai, samajh jayega. Like, he's my brother, he'll understand. Like, he's not really his brother, but he's gonna like he's one of us, he'll get it. No, he's not gonna get it.
No.
Haven't you worked with this man long enough to know how insecure and how power hungry he is? Really, what makes you think he's going to take a back seat? Like,
Your
it makes
sister
no sense.
knows.
Yeah,
She knows.
it's just I mean, Omkara really is kind of dumb. Like,
He's definitely not the sharpest.
he's not.
And partly, I guess it's an insecurity or something, but also I just think he's not.
Yeah.
How did you think Ajay Devgan did in this role?
I thought he was amazing.
I mean, is this his career best as well?
I think so. I mean,
That
I
I've
like
seen, I'd
him.
say yes. I've not seen that many, but yeah.
I mean, the only other movie of his that I think he's also phenomenal is Zakhm.
Mm,
He's really good in that as well.
mm,
But I would say Omkara would probably be second after Zakhm. The scene, in so many scenes, he actually reminded me of Amitabh Bachchan during his
sure.
peak. Like, it
Yeah.
was very much giving like Zanjeer and Diwar and, those vibes, especially the scene where he's lying on his back and he's so like, quote unquote nonchalant, but not really. And he's saying hi ya na. It just gave me those visions of Amitabh and Zanjeer, where he's sitting with his legs on the
Yeah.
table, and he's
Yeah.
like, ये पुलिस स्टेशन है, तुम्हारे बाप का घर नहीं है, or whatever,
Yeah.
or it's like, मैं
Yeah.
फेंके हुए पैसे नहीं उठाता. Like, that same kind of like lanky body type, where you speak really slowly and you're kind of soft spoken, but you
Deeper.
have like a deep voice too,
Mhm.
and you don't have
Oh,
that
could you, your sound has
like
gone out.
nervous energy that's really reminded so much. What's
Can you
that?
say that again? Your sound cut out for a minute there.
Oh, I was saying he just gave me that very like lanky energy that Amitabh used to have.
Yeah.
And even that scene where he says ki ghodo pe shart lagate hain sheron par nahi, like you bet on horses, you don't bet on like lions or tigers, like
Yeah.
it just I just kept getting these like flashbacks to Amitabh during his prime. And it also made me wonder, like, if Ajay Devgan had time traveled to that era and he had the backing of Salim Javed that Amitabh did, and
Mm,
he had gotten those kind of scripts, I really wonder if Ajay Devgan would have been an even bigger star or actor or whatever,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. This movie also made me think about a question that I have not often asked myself, which is, do I miss Vivek Oberoi? I think I might. He's also incredibly good in this.
He is, yeah.
Huh.
He's incredibly well cast in this, and I personally
He
find Vivek
is.
Oberoi so irritating
Oh, do
because
you?
there's like I do because there's like a smugness to him that I
Hmm.
don't enjoy. He
Hmm.
is charming, I'll give him
Hmm.
that, but he has this vibe of, and I don't know if I'm verbalizing this correctly. He has this vibe of, I'm cute and I know it, and you know it too,
Sure. Yeah.
and it annoys me, and I don't know why it annoys me so much, but it just kind of like annoys me. I'm like, you are not the heroine, I'm not looking at you, shut up. um but in this, I think his sort of like boyish charm compared to them, his
Yeah.
kind of like,
Oh, your sound again. Sorry for technical difficulties, everyone. Oh no.
can you
Okay,
hear
there
me?
there you are. Nope.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Um, I was saying that he kind of reminds, he feels like Dolly's equal to me because they're both like
Yes.
college educated, they both speak English. He knows how to, they keep calling him Firangi.
Yeah.
He's teaching her how to play the guitar and sing like English songs. And then that scene where he's trying to correct her pronunciation of bottom, like that made me laugh. Um,
That was great.
yeah.
It was really great.
And then that scene where she is singing the song for Ajay Devgan and he comes home, and I was like, girl, just you don't even know how out of depth you are right now. Like, you could
Right.
have just romanced some cute, clueless, rich college kid and just had like an easy life. And instead, you chose to run away with basically a gangster. And I don't know what you were doing.
Well, so a thing that I had not really remembered is that she was engaged to Raju, right?
Yes.
Which
Which,
makes
why?
no sense that her dad would have matched her up with Deepak Dobriyal's character because I'm not sure, we don't know much about him,
No.
but he is further down the food chain than the all the other men that we meet,
Yeah.
really.
He's like a bit player.
Yeah, and we don't know what his dad does for a living, but I don't know. So that also did not make sense. So I'm glad for her that she didn't do that, even though her fate was not better, but that would have also not been good.
Yeah. Mostly it was just like, why can't you just like study and move away and get a nice job and like,
GTF out of there and
yeah. But then that's
yeah.
always my complaint about every
Wow.
single woman character in every movie. So,
Yeah.
but I found that scene so chilling. I'd completely forgotten it. But that scene where her dad, he rolls down the window and
Oh.
he says to Ajay Devgan, a daughter who tricked her own father, she's never going to be true to anybody. And I was like, what an absolutely heinous thing to say to someone. And the way it's said and narrated, it almost sounded like a curse instead of
Oh
just
yeah.
a statement,
And
right?
how
Like,
Omkara repeats it twice.
exactly. Like, it just rings in his head. And I'm like,
Mm.
what an absolutely horrible seed to plant in someone's head. All the men in this movie are so heinous, Beth.
Yeah, because her dad clearly thinks very little of her, if that's what
Yeah,
I'm going to say.
clearly.
Yeah. And he's wrong.
Yeah. No, everyone in this movie is heinous.
Yeah, the
I mean,
men are heinous. Yeah, the men are
I
absolutely wretched.
yeah, no. And I was wondering about this, like, I have not read the original, like I've not read Othello, the play.
Mm.
And I haven't really I don't think I've ever seen any like Othello production either, like
Mm.
on like BBC or anything like that. So this is the only
Mm.
film version I know of Othello. Do you know, or what is your theory about why is Omkara so convinced that Dolly is cheating on him? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me because this is a girl who ran away from her presumably cushy life. Her dad's a lawyer, so they're probably well off. And she chose to run away from her own wedding, and she chose to marry you and live with you despite knowing that your circumstances are not that great, and you are basically the top of the food chain, and you have everything you could possibly want. So why would you believe that she's having an affair with Kesu? I mean, I know that people are trying to convince you of it because they want to drive a wedge between you, blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't mean you have to believe people.
I think, and again, I can't really speak to Othello. I think here, what I walked away with was that no matter what his affections for Dolly are, I do think Omkara has affection for Dolly.
Yeah.
It's not strong enough. He is so accustomed to listening to these guys. I don't think he trusts himself because there's a scene where he tells Langda, when I look in her eyes, what you're saying does not make sense to me, or
Mm.
phrases it differently than that. But I keep hearing you say this, so you need to give me proof. He cannot function without these men in his ear. I think he lives in such a what militaristic really and man
Echo
dominated,
chamber.
violence dominated world. And he's so inculcated in that of course he listens
Mm.
to them over his own. He does, I guess he does make some of his own decisions at other times. Like, I think it's basically up to him that they only leave Pankaj Tripathi alive in that scene where they go and shoot up
Hmm.
their enemies. But I and if no one had ever said anything, I don't think he would have ever doubted Dolly, particularly because also he's probably not going to spend a lot of time thinking about her because the home life is not of
Yeah.
interest to him. But given that one of them and keeps saying things, he just doesn't have self knowledge or self trust, I think.
I think also, I mean, it makes total sense what you're saying, but I just remembered, I was just thinking about The Godfather, and you know how the relationship between Michael and Kay, and it's like
Yeah.
Kay thinks that she's going to have like a normal marriage with Michael, but she's never going to have a normal marriage with
No.
Michael because for Michael, the Corleones come first. And
Yeah.
when he says family comes first, that's the family
Yeah.
he's talking about, not his
Same.
wife and his children.
Yeah.
And that scene, especially at the end of the movie where she's looking in and they're
Yeah.
kissing his ring and they close the door in her face.
Yeah.
But basically, this notion of these men, they form these like packs, almost like
Hmm.
wild dogs or like
Hmm.
hyenas or something. There's
Hmm.
these packs of the mafia, and this is also a kind of a mafia that they've shown.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And in that world, it's what is that horrible thing that the red pilled incel people say, bros before hoes? It's like that.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
the men are always together, they're a pack, they listen to each other, and you're not gonna let any woman tell you what to think, and what the men say is the truth, and she's always a liability.
Yeah.
And Konkana says something to that effect, to that scene
Yeah.
where she's upset with Ajay Devgan, and she basically says to him that we leave everything behind, we leave our families behind, and we walk into a
Yeah.
completely new home and a new marriage. And despite it all, we're the ones that are called tuggies. Like we're the ones who tricked you, really. And she's so
Yeah.
disgusted by him in that
Yeah.
moment. So yeah, I think what you're saying is right. It's so weird though. It's like
Hmm.
I also wondered if there was like a little bit of like an inferiority complex because presumably he can't speak English, but
Yeah.
Kesu and her can. They've both gone to college,
Yeah.
and
Londa picked the right
the
person,
right
right? He didn't
angle.
say it was Raju who she had actually been engaged to, right? He goes for
Right.
something much more believable. Yeah.
Yeah. Like look, they can bond on English music. Do
Hmm.
you know English? Oh, you don't. Oh, look, they went to college together. Did you go to college? Oh, you didn't. It's
Yeah.
these little digs, I think, that are meant to make him
And
feel
how
less
Londa's
so
always like
horrible.
stupid, stupid, stupid about himself when, oh, I love
He's
it so much.
he's so vile.
Absolutely diabolical. Yeah. It's just a master class in manipulation, and Seth does it so perfectly.
I was reading actually because you know how like the casting took everyone by shock because people were like,
Right.
you want to take this like Eton educated Nawabzada who like can't even speak proper Hindi. You want to cast him as like Langda Tyagi. This is the stupidest shit we've ever heard of. And then of course Seth proved everyone wrong, and Vishal Bharadwaj proved everyone wrong. But I actually read that the person who Vishal Bharadwaj intended to cast as Langda Tyagi was Amir Khan, and it was Sharmila Tagore who convinced him
Hmm.
to cast her son.
Oh,
And
wow.
I know. And I was like, okay, I am not a fan of these yesteryear stars like trying to like put their little nepo babies forward. But in this occasion, I will shut up.
He
And
was right.
she was right. She knew her son. And I mean, I don't think that Amir would have done a bad job either because
No, I
we've
think he would have
seen
been good too.
he was so evil in 1947 Earth.
Right. Right.
So I think he would have been good too, but there are different flavors. And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I enjoy Saif's machinations more.
I think that at least, well, okay, maybe this isn't true overall. The word that popped into my head was an ugliness. Like Seth was
Mm.
ugliness that I don't feel I've seen. I feel like Amir has a little bit more of the what the self-aggrandizement about him than Seth does. And I don't know if that's actually true, but I can't see him putting that aside, right? Because even in Gajini, where he's, you know,
Yeah.
there's still this like heroic thing about him. Now, obviously, it's a very different character, but
Like a little bit of delusion.
yeah,
In Fana as well.
right.
I think maybe with Amir's
There is no
characters,
pretending to romance in this, right? Like there is no dancing around at the Qutub Minar and all in this
no.
kind of film. So,
But I think you're onto something. I think with Amir there's a veneer at least
mhm.
of it, maybe it's that kind of thing like like a playground bully or a kid who throws the stone but then they immediately hide.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that's more Amir, whereas with Langda I think there's more gloating. But
Mm.
yeah, I don't know, maybe Amir is too pretty.
There's that too, right? Like I think Steph is very handsome, but the contortions that happened in this, I don't see working as well with Amir for some reason. And
Yeah.
not really because of anything he consciously would have done to thwart them, but I just, yeah, this makes, I think that would have worked. I think this is better.
Yeah, same.
Um,
Amazing.
I can also kind of imagine Amir as Omkara, actually. Like physically it's a little different, but
Yeah.
I can see him being the one who got misled
Mm,
in a way. I'm not sure he would have agreed to play it, although maybe he would. He's so interested in being an actor and everything. So,
yeah.
that is
But
supposed to sound dismissive. Being an actor is good.
right. I feel like every movie I've seen though of Amir, he's always the smartest guy in the room.
Right.
So I don't know if he would be okay with being the stupid guy who got misled by the actually intelligent guy, like
Yeah.
the actual smarty pants in
Yeah.
the room. I don't know if Amir's ego would be able to take that. Um, Whereas I think Ajay's ego can take that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's shocking to me that this movie is not actually called like Iago or actually called Tyagi. Also, I had
Yeah.
completely forgotten what his name is because everyone keeps calling him Langda. What is with calling people names of their handicaps? But
I mean,
his
that's the cruelty of this world.
yes.
Like, the cruelty in this movie is that was another thing I wrote down in my notes was just the level and the omnipresence and omnipotence of the cruelty
Hmm.
is staggering.
Yeah. It's his real name is actually Ishwar Tyagi, which is hysterical because Ishwar means God.
Ah, okay. Well,
So maybe he does have delusions of God level, whatever.
he's the most powerful one, even though he
He
isn't,
is.
but he actually is because he played everybody else
Hmm.
perfectly. Like there was never a flaw in how his plan unrolled. He was never thwarted at any step. They did not see it.
He was always like two steps ahead of everyone.
Oh,
I I think also it makes me sad that his wife is really the Indu, played by Kankana Singh Sharma, is probably the only person who really knows what he's like.
Yeah.
But she's so desperate for his love and so desperate for his approval. Like when she steals the waistband, and then eventually when even she can't deny his heinousness anymore, and then we have the absolutely amazing, extremely satisfying climax.
She, yeah, she's got a good read on the men in this world, but she's a little slow to really let it sink home.
Yeah,
Maybe, but also the level of misdeeds that she is accustomed to in her day-to-day living is so high
yeah.
that it had to be this kind of in intra duplicitousness for her
Mhm.
to act. But when she knows, she acts,
Yeah.
right? And again, if you've forgotten the plot of this film, one of the differences between this and the play is that after she finds out what her husband has manipulated into happening, she goes home and she waits for him at the door. And when he comes home, at the front door. And I think this is important that she's still in the house and he's still outside. Like she is acting from the position of where women are centered, right?
Hmm.
And she just slashes him across the neck with a giant sickle and then throws his body in a well,
Right.
which is exactly what he deserves. And really, only she could have done that because I don't see a world in which he would have been ambushed by anybody else
Right.
because he knows he's smarter than they are. But he doesn't stop to think about her as as an enemy. He thinks about her as a tool in his
Yeah.
toolbox, but he does not consider her as an enemy. But then also, why would he? Because everything we've heard her say is that she's realistic about the men, but only in this sort of um, sisterhood kind of way, right?
Hmm.
I mean, I think she has a sense of what they're up to, but also she seems to be a little more concerned with the here's how you keep your man from straying too far, and here's how you
Yeah.
keep him from, I guess, divorcing you and possibly killing you. I don't know if she's talking about violence or not. I think she probably is, but
There's also all the compartmentalization she has to do, right?
yeah,
Like she genuinely has good relationships with the people in this movie.
yeah.
She has as pleasant a relationship with this horrible man she's married to as she could. I mean, it's not like they have like a super toxic marriage,
And
at
when
least on the
they're
face
like
of
talking
it.
about, oh, men and women are like a pot and a ladle, and when they're separate, they're useless, but when you get them together, it's bang, 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 and they're kind of like
Yeah.
clacking their heads together, going crash bang, or whatever.
Yeah.
So cute.
It is cute. It's
Yeah,
also like terrifying, but it's
yeah.
cute. But then she also has good relationships with Omkara and with
She does,
Kesu and
yeah,
with
with her
everyone.
brother. Yeah.
She's kind of like the mother hen.
She's mom.
She's mom. She's taking care of everyone. When Kesu was like all unhappy, she's feeding him. And I do wonder, like, again, I don't know the source material, but I do find it interesting that she's a woman of a certain age in this village. She's been
Yeah.
married for how long and she doesn't have children.
Yeah.
And I do
No, they
wonder,
do. They have a child.
have they? Oh, the little
They
Golu.
have a little boy.
Well, he
But he
doesn't.
doesn't matter much, thank goodness.
Yeah. But she's basically just like taking care of everyone. She also takes such good care of Dolly. Like she's kind of like the
Hmm.
only person who looks out for her. And there's that scene where Dolly's crying, poor thing, and she says to her, like, I'm your sister and your friend and your brother and all the things. And she's so kind, but there was also this strain of like toxic positivity to her.
Yeah.
Where she was like, we're going to pretend this is not a horrible world and we're going to pretend
Right.
all these men aren't evil and we're just going to put on a happy face and we're going to dance to like Mehndi songs.
I want to say two things following up on this. One is so Konkana won Best Actress at the film fairs, or Best Supporting Actress, I mean,
Yes.
for this movie, which, okay, good. Uh, and Seth won Best Villain, but Best Actor that year went to Rithik for Doom 2. I'm
What?
sorry. I'm so sorry. That is outrageous in every possible way. I actually have that film fairs open. So Best Actor, the nominees were Hrithik for Doom 2, Amir for Rang de Basanti, which I'm sorry was a better performance than Doom
Yeah.
2, Hrithik and Krish, Sanjay Dutt in Lage Raho Manabai, Shahrukh
Uh-huh.
and Dawn, and Shahrukh and Kank. all of those I think are better performances than
Shahrukh and Kank is a very good performance.
so this is some outrageous. I mean, they're
Yeah.
all Nepo. Well, Shahrukh's not Nepo, but you
Yeah.
know, this is some insider baloney. However, I am pleased that Konkona won Best Supporting Actress.
Also, having said
They
that,
should have.
it's good because the previous year, the national award for best actor went to Saif Ali Khan for
Yeah,
Hum Tum because Sharmila was on the
right,
board or whatever, and they
right.
robbed my man Shahrukh. So they robbed, like, he was nominated for Swades. How are you
Right.
gonna give Hum Tum an award over Swades? So
Yeah,
if
that's
Doom
not fair
Two gets an
either.
award, I'm fine with it. It's all baloney anyway. But
It
also
is.
Doom
It is.
Two.
Right.
I mean, I love Hrithik Roshan, but come
Super
on.
cringe. Yeah, that's not a great performance. Um, and then what was the other thing I wanted to say? Oh no, it left my head. Oh no. Oh no. I'm so sorry. Please continue.
Were you thinking of someone else's performance in this movie?
No, I think it was still about Konkana and how she's amazing and she's my hope
She's
for
amazing in
cinema
this
and like
movie.
I love
I think
everything
she's
about
so
her
good in
and
this
want
film.
her to do everything. Um, oh boy. Oh boy. Is there Are there other people that we want to discuss performance-wise?
Yes, I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about Bebo.
Oh yes,
Um,
please. Please do.
I love her as Dolly in this movie.
Hmm.
I feel like, I mean, we all know that like Bebo is not only a superstar, but she's also a really good actor.
Hmm.
And I feel like when people talk about, and I'm guilty of this also, when people talk about their favorite Bebo performances, they're talking about Chameli or they're talking about, some of her other films. People rarely mention her role in Omkara. And while I agree that her role in Omkara is not as author backed as say Konkana's role is, I do like what she does in this film. I think you need at least one person in this film, and especially her character is such that you have to be that one person that represents, and I use this word very loosely, purity
Mm.
or innocence, like a world where a person that represents a world where you genuinely love people and care about people and don't just use them, and where love and affection and family and those words actually mean something instead of just machinations. And I think she plays her role really well. I don't think she does any sort of like histrionics or any sorts of like melodrama. I love the way that she's styled in this movie. I love how they show the difference between her social economic standing versus Indu's social economic
Yeah.
standing in the saris that Indu wears and the way she's styled versus
Mm.
the salwar kameezes that Bebo wears, or even the saris that she wears, the jewelry that she wears. Um, I think all of that was beautifully done.
Omkara did win the Filmfare for Best Costume Design that
And
year
I
for
and I
Dolly
think the
Ahluwalia.
I think the costume design in this is amazing. Like you can immediately tell the difference between these two women. I find it crazy
Yeah.
that they live in this dusty, dusty old village, and you have Karina literally wearing a pristine white
Right.
salwar kameez.
Do you think we're supposed to see that as a harbinger of her death?
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, white is like we did in our color series, white is universally the symbol and the emblem of like purity and innocence. And she
Innocence.
looks so
Yeah.
angelic in
And
it.
she looks like a flower. She spins
Yeah.
around and you see like the dupatta out and everything. Like she looks like the petals.
Yeah. Just the
Really
twirling and
amazing.
the impracticality of it. And then, yeah, it's just, she doesn't belong in that
No.
world at all, like visually and just personality wise. And
No.
it just makes me sad that this character just feels like they need to adhere to this world instead of just like fly away. I
Mm.
have the same thoughts about Kesu as well, because it's like, I'm not saying that Kesu is all that special, but he is presumably a college graduate
Yeah.
and he can speak fluent English, and I'm like, surely you could do something with your life,
I
something.
assume that his deal is that now we don't ever hear about his parents, do we? So is there sort of a maybe we can assume he's looking for a father figure sort and maybe this
Maybe.
gang kind of took him in some way or he found a way to be useful to
Mm,
people that he needed, right? I mean, I find this about myself. I always want to be useful. Well, I don't. I often want to be useful, and that's not necessarily it may be genuine, but it's not the firmest foundation to build certain things, right?
right.
Well, to someone. Um, but also I loved how he, I think he probably also likes that people listen to him there, or at least somewhat they do. And if he do we assume that he finished college? He graduated?
I assume so,
So maybe
yeah.
he was like popular student leader type, and then you go out in the quote unquote real world. I hate when people don't say say higher ed is not the real world. It absolutely, but suddenly he's a little bit adrift, and so I can see
Yeah.
this being very appealing. Like, oh, another system with ranks and with audiences that I can. And he does have a propensity to violence too, right? We see
Yeah.
him when he's upset go and just pull that guy out of a car and pummel him for no particular reason other than that he's blocking the road.
He also has a problem with alcohol,
Yes, he
as we
does.
notice.
And
He's
interestingly,
a
he knows it and acts accordingly at least some of the time, which is not something we see
Yeah.
young men saying or doing very
Right.
often. But
Like he does have some level of
yes, he
self-awareness.
does. Yes, he
He's
does.
an intelligent man and
Yep.
he is capable of looking at his actions from, like, there's that scene with him and Bipasha Basu where they're at the fairground. I love that scene
Yeah,
when they're
it's
in the
nice.
carousel. I love that.
Hmm.
Not the carousel. They're in the Ferris
Ferris
wheel.
wheel. Yeah, it's so nice.
It's so pretty. And then he says the thing about how lonely he is because he
Yeah.
is a sore thumb. He is sticking out like a sore thumb among these men. And I was like, yes, you
Mhm.
are sticking out like a
With your sweater
sore
vest
thumb.
and your little plaid shirt and your jeans.
And you have floofy hair that you spend so
Yeah.
much money on your haircuts, I'm sure. And yeah, I think he's probably one of those people that's like adrift and doesn't necessarily have like ambition or drive or the ability to set goals for himself. So it's easy for him
Hmm.
just to be with this gang where they tell him what to do,
Right.
and because he's relatively good at what he does and he's
Yeah.
smart, and so he gets by. It
Yep.
would be so much harder for him to like go get a job in like an actual like office somewhere, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And then also, can we talk about Bipasha because I love her so much?
Yeah. Let's talk
I love her. First of
that
all,
character.
her name is amazing. It is such a filmy name. Her name is Billu Chaman Bahar. And her performance is they have this banner that says Billo Chaman Bahar Orchestra. And I was like, yes.
So she's got her own business then and everything.
She
That's
does.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
her name. It says Billo
Yeah.
Chaman Bahar Orchestra. And I love that she's this like businesswoman. She's this dancer. She looks like $1,000,000. I
Mhm.
miss Bepasha Basu so much. Every time she comes on screen, I'm like, I love you. You were so beautiful. And she's glamorous and she's fit, and her dances. I love her in BD Jalaile, and I love her in Zaba Pe Laga. Like, oh my God, she steals the show.
Mhm.
And I also like the scenes where you see like the Gharelu Billo, like, you know, where she's wearing like those boring house clothes and she doesn't have a
Yeah.
stitch of makeup on her, and
Yeah.
she's drying her clothes in the terrace.
Yeah.
And behind her, like in the foreground, you can see a mom and a daughter, and the mom is like plaiting her daughter's hair. And it's so like homely and
Yeah.
like boring and sweet.
Yeah.
And then she gets taken in as well by all of the little whispers about, do you
Mhm.
know what your boyfriend is up to? Because like she keeps calling Kesu like basically like a haram khor, and she calls him like a Casanova. And
Yeah.
then they get to him too. I was watching this movie with my husband because he loves Omkara as well. And he's like, oh, I'm going to watch it with you. And at one point, he was so exasperated. He paused it and he said, what is with everyone in this movie just getting taken in by gossip? Like,
It's a
not
great
one
question.
person in this movie is capable of stopping and thinking and asking, why are you telling me this information that is intended to inflame my emotions? Not
Yeah.
one person has the ability to think for themselves and say, what possible agenda does this person have? They just take it for granted and then they act impulsively. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I remembered what I wanted to say, which was that I also was thinking on this rewatch about Cartavia that we just watched.
Yes.
Very, very similar in some ways. Like that Seth character is like if someone with Langda's skills was good
Yeah.
and working for a sense of order and justice,
Yeah.
well, a different kind of justice, but
And interestingly, his wife, Rasika Dugal, in that movie is very similar to the
yeah,
Indu character in this movie. It's the same thing. We know
yeah,
bad things happen. We know honor killings happen. We know bad things are being done by members of our family. We're just not going to think too much about it, though,
no,
because then we won't be able to survive. It's the same idea. And then even in Kartavya, remember there's that, I forget which actor plays it, but it's the guy who tells Saif that he's going to take care of the little boy, but then he tricks
yeah,
him.
yeah. Yeah.
That's the Saif of that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like in that movie we see Seth go from being what being Omkara basically into being
Yeah.
Langda, but he's using it for actual what we would consider justice, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is such an absolute masterpiece of a film.
Yeah. I just find it so sad, like the scenes of like the swing that they
Mm.
have, and they have these scenes of like Omkara and Dolly romancing on the swing, and then at the end when she's wearing like her bridal outfit and she's in all red, which is not only the color of like a wedding outfit but also what makes one think of like blood and passion and all of that. And when he's like suffocating her, strangling her, and then there's those like marks on his face,
And it
and
takes
it's like
so long for her
it
to
takes so
die. She
long.
fights and she fights and she fights. And there was a creepy like if you didn't know what was happening in certain flashes that would read as a love scene.
Yeah.
Wedding night love scene and it's
Yeah.
so horrible.
Yeah, like even the scratches on his face and stuff, you
Mhm.
might think that that's just like passion or something,
Right.
and it is passion, just of like the kind
For
that you
her own
don't
life.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did think that it is a little too filmy that Omkara falls right next to that and that her
Oh yeah.
swing goes back and forth and that he's wearing white at that point, right?
Yes.
I was like, okay.
Right.
Bardwaj is filmy at times, and
Yeah.
it didn't jive with the rest of the tone of the film to me. But then he holds that for so long, and there's so many back and forths of this.
Mm,
Then I was like, okay, maybe I'm on board with this because it just kept going, and it became
yeah.
you couldn't not absorb because it was so pointed or something.
He wouldn't let you kind of look away.
No, he wouldn't. He didn't
Yeah.
let go. Yeah.
Swings for me are just associated with Sholay because of that terrible scene in Sholay where the swings are just going and then you're like,
Empty.
it's basically carnage.
Mhm.
And so ever since, and I do wonder if that is like a filmy shortcut that he uses because Sholay is such an iconic film. And so maybe is that part of the reason he
And I
uses that swing here?
believe Cholet took that from the Western that this is
Mhm.
that Cholet is that borrows from significantly. And that might be taken from the Japanese or the Italian or whatever. But those exist for sure in
Yeah.
and they're very effective. Yeah, very effective.
Yeah.
Because you get the creaking.
Yeah.
Oof, oof. And the
And the
movement under no steam that you can see is yeah.
and there's also like I love how Shakespeare's stories always have like these omens in them. Like Macbeth has so many omens. Like I've actually read Macbeth, even
Yeah.
though I haven't read Othello. Like I love all the omens in his stories. There's always witches, there's always prophecies, there's always some sort of like
Mhm.
foreboding, and there's always like storms happening. Like Shakespeare is very, very filmy.
Oh yeah.
And even in this, like
And magic
that's
and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. And then even in this scene, like with the eagle flying fast and then dropping the snake,
Oh
so
boy.
gross
Oh
in the
boy.
thing. And then when the haldi falls on her face, because
Ah,
how many times have we seen in movies that some, like blood falls in
of
someone's face and
course.
instead of that it's haldi? I
Ugh.
love that. And then when he gets up, like they're putting haldi all over Ajay Devgan, and he gets the phone call, so he gets up, and the old woman, and her voice is so like
I love
reed
that.
thin. Yeah, and she says you shouldn't leave. It's literally like you will call misfortune like she says ashub, like it's misfortune, it's inauspicious to go out like that without cleaning off the haldi like on your haldi day. And he's just like whatever, and he like throws the stuff away and keeps going. And I'm like,
And the
literally
camera
there's
holds on her, and then she kind of goes to the side, right? Like
yeah.
she's so frustrated that and upset that he has actually left.
Right. And in movies and in books, it's always like, it's always the crone.
Oh
It's
yeah.
always the old woman or the
Yeah.
village witch. It's always that person who's telling them, like, don't ignore omens and don't ignore prophecies. And it's always the young blood that they're like, whatever, we're modern. We don't believe in this shit. And then bad things happen.
Mm. What do we think is going to happen to these people the next day, in the next weeks? Because who survives? So Keshu survives.
Omkara survives.
No.
Yeah.
Omkar
Oh,
shoots
no, he
himself.
shoots himself. Yes, I forgot that.
Um,
Um,
Indu survives.
yes.
And where is Nasiruddin Shah alive at the end of the film? We
Presumably.
presume. Okay, so we never see him killed. I feel like in the upload that I watched, there were a couple scenes that I thought I remembered existing that I didn't see, but also maybe I just looked away for a second or
Mm.
something. But anyway, um, So he survives, and he will not be happy about what has happened, but he will also march onwards because he has an election to win and all that kind of stuff,
Yes.
right? So he will, I assume, elevate Keshu to be the Bahubali.
Hmm.
Um, but what will Indu do? Like, is she gonna live her life as a widow in this world? I
I
think
almost
it is.
wonder, I feel like someone will take revenge on her.
You think so?
I think so.
And do you think Nasir will send someone after her?
Either Nasir or someone else from the gang. I mean, Omkar is dead, so it's not like he can, but someone will. I mean, it's unthinkable to me that this woman has basically killed Langda Tyagi, who was like a very
Yeah.
important part of their gang, basically, and she's just gonna get away with it. No one's gonna let her get away with it. So
Hmm.
someone's gonna come for her for sure.
I mean, I see her taking her own life before she lets
Yeah.
that happen, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But I just don't see a world where she's allowed to
But
survive.
then they
Like
would
she
want that kid,
the
right?
last
They'll want
season.
that kid to be
Oh
the
yeah.
next generation. So,
I mean, they'll
yeah,
groom him and
yeah.
they'll tell him how horrible and evil his mother was. I
Just
mean,
like in Cartavia.
yes.
Mm.
They'll basically tell him, "Do you know how evil your mother was? Like she killed your father. Can you imagine? Like women are evil, women are horrible, you know?"
And you think they won't put in the part that your father caused the death of our
I
leader
don't
and his
know.
wife?
I think they'll valorize him. I
Mm.
think they'll valorize him, they'll valorize Omkara, and ultimately the only bad guys are going to be the women. Dolly's going to be a bad woman because she was having an affair with somebody, not
Right.
Kesu, but somebody. And then it's all going to be, it's like all the men are going to be whitewashed. And I think that I just don't see a way out for Indu.
Mm.
I don't think they'll let her live,
Mm.
and someone's gonna kill her if she doesn't kill
Mhm.
herself. And Kesu, I wish and hope that this is the impetus he needs to
Right.
just run away.
He does seem thoroughly disgusted and distraught at the end.
Yeah,
And he has
in
also barely
shock.
survived. Like he's been beaten up
Yeah,
by
and
Raju, I
also
guess.
their gang is now decimated. I mean, of course, Nasir has the like wherewithal and the power to like create a new one. But with
Hmm.
Omkara gone and Langda Tyagi gone, what is Kesu ruling over? I mean, it's like take your stupid college degree, take go with Billo somewhere, go live a better life somewhere. But does
Right.
he have the courage to do that? Is he gonna leave
He might
this
now when it's hard to say, like, because I don't,
house?
do you think these people would go after him if he actually like leaves the state? I don't see these people leaving the state. They're not interested. They're hyper local, right?
Yeah.
Hard to say.
And this is, I feel like this is his whole life. If he wanted to leave,
Yeah.
he could have left before. If
Yeah.
he doesn't leave now, he never will.
Right. Right. Because doesn't, who else comes to the door? It's Kesu and it's somebody else, right? To see the death at the end.
Yeah, I don't
I
remember
think
who it
he's
was
with
though.
maybe Raju, maybe Deepak Dobrel is with them. I can't remember, but
Maybe.
yeah. Mm, poor Indu.
What do you think would have happened if Ajay Devgan hadn't killed himself? Because that scene where he's singing, which is by the way so creepy, the same lullaby that he was singing after their
Yeah.
sex scene, he's singing that same scene
Yeah.
now when she's dead. And I was like, okay, you killed her. You do not get to sing to her.
Right.
Stop it.
Right.
I almost wondered for a second, like if he was going to be so distraught with grief at what he done, and also the mistake he makes, right? Like when he
Yeah.
realizes that the waistband was like stolen and people
Hmm.
were framed in the first
Hmm.
place, so he was like duped basically, and
Yeah.
not by his wife, by
Right.
his compadres basically. And I wonder what he would do. Like, would he lose his mind? Would he have killed Langda Tyagi and Kesu and everyone, kind of like almost like a murder suicide? If Indu didn't get to Tyagi, I
Yeah.
don't know.
He could have killed Langda, but he didn't. He killed
Yeah,
himself.
my gods. What do you, let's talk about Indu's character, because she is like the heroine of this film.
Mhm.
And I just very recently saw Reshma Shera, right? There's
Right.
something similar happening in Reshma Shera where it's like the men keep making these really bad, stupid decisions. And it's a similar, like very feudal, very violent, very paternalistic, um, ecosystem full of like grudges and violence and things like that. Nobody ever thinks straight, and everything is about like honor and ego and everything. And even in that movie, the only people who make any sense are Wahida's character. Sulochana's character, and to some extent Raki's character, all the men are absolute bakwas, with the exception of
Mm.
Sunil Dutt's character, but then he goes haywire as well. And it's the women who are the moral compass of Reshma Shera. And in this movie as well, it's the women that are the moral compass of this movie. Dolly is an innocent. Indu is a decent human being in a very horrible world. And Billo is an innocent too. I mean, Billo doesn't do anything bad either.
Yeah.
She's just a street smart
Yeah.
person, but
Yeah. Indu is so fascinating
yeah.
because
What do you
clearly
think makes her snap?
that she got played.
Okay.
I think she too has an ego about being smart, right? And which
Mm,
is fine. And
yeah.
she too was betrayed, right? So she trusted her husband.
Do you
Although it is
think
interesting that she must not have questioned why her husband told her to steal it. And we don't really see that, if I recall right. We see
right?
her take it while
Yes.
Dolly is out in the fields, but and if it's a family heirloom, then surely she would know about it because she is his sister.
Right.
That didn't quite track for me, I have to say, but then I figured I was missing some subtitles or something.
No, I mean I had the subtitles on
So
and
maybe
there
she was just a
wasn't
little bit covetous of the jewelry and she
maybe.
wanted it, but then it goes missing from her as well, right? It's because
Yeah.
Langda takes it. So
Hmm. What is, do you know what it is in Othello? Because I know that in the actual play, it's a handkerchief.
the handkerchief, yeah.
But why does Iago tell Emilia to take the handkerchief in Othello? Do you
I
know?
don't know. I don't
Because
know.
in this, it's not clear. I wonder if, like, does he play her by saying that if it's a family heirloom, it's as much yours as it is your brother's? And why should he just have it and give it to Dolly? You can have it too. I wonder if it's like
Oh,
that.
okay. According to Wikipedia, Iago sees the handkerchief and he steals it.
Okay.
So he cuts out this. So Pardwaj has added this wrinkle, I think, in, to justify the ending that he also writes,
Mm.
which is interesting. And
Do you,
gosh, how often do we see somebody write in something more for a woman to do? So that's
right?
cool.
Yeah. Do you think that she has any idea of the depths of her husband's evilness? Or do you think because she's so used to looking the other way, even though she's a very intelligent woman, do you think that she allows her delusions to take over and now
Yeah,
she realizes, okay,
I think it's that. I think this is in a way, a straw that broke the house
okay.
of cards, so to speak, right? Like I think she knows, but she won't let herself think about it because it's too
Mm,
awful. Because what otherwise, then she would have to take that kid and run, but
right,
they'd catch her and they'd kill her. So,
right. It reminds me a little bit of that very heartbreaking scene in Sairat where
yeah,
Archie is in the factory and her coworker is asking her, "Tell me about your family," and she says, "My family is
yeah,
so nice. My dad and my mom are so wonderful." And I'm like, "Girl, they want to kill you." I mean, not the mother, but the
literally
father
kill
wants to
you.
kill you. But we were even talking about Archie's mom, right? Like she
Right.
sends gifts for the baby and laddus and things like that, and silver anklets, and it's like, does she know how heinous her husband is either? I feel like a lot of these systems, at least in books and movies, exist. Like these worlds exist because the women in these
Oh,
worlds have to look away.
yeah,
Because if they actually face what the truth is, then that would create such a huge dissonance for them where they would have to decide, I can't live here.
yeah,
And then the whole thing would collapse.
yeah, yeah. I think
Yikes.
it's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would love to hear. This would not be suitable to the character, but like, wouldn't you love to read Indu's diary? You
Yes.
know? I don't know who she would be because I don't see her talk. She doesn't have any friends, right? She doesn't talk. I mean, there are all those women at the engagement party and everything, but
Yeah.
we never meet them. So you wonder who she gossips with and everything.
Right. And I think you can't gossip with most people because if you were to tell them what your husband was up to, they would know about your husband's criminal endeavors. I think in some ways the women that are stuck in these kind of like
Yeah.
mafioso situations can't have anything other than just superficial
But
friendships.
where are the wives of all these other soldiers, right?
I
Like
don't think they have that many, right? Like
maybe not.
Kesu is unmarried.
Yeah,
I mean, he
that's
has a
true.
lover,
That's
but he's
true.
unmarried. Also, how
Right.
much do them, even if the men are married, how much do their wives know anyway? They probably all have mistresses.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting question. Is
Dolly
there
doesn't
someone
have any
Indu could have talked to?
friends.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, there's that scene where she's crying and she says to Omkara, she basically says, I have no one. Like,
Yeah, I
who would I
left.
even, like, you're
Yeah,
the only one I have. And I was like, girl,
I know. Don't do that.
yeah, it's all
Don't
so
do it.
isolating and it's
Mhm.
also like you have no power. I mean, in a way, the only two friends are Indu and Dolly.
Yeah,
Like, they both have a little bit of a friendship and a sisterhood, and
yeah,
then that of course is destroyed when she sees. And I do think that also, like, is the proof that Indu needed, like, to see
yeah.
with her own eyes. Imagine how shocking that would be to see the dead body of this young innocent girl just like dead, and the man who killed her is your brother, by the way.
Right.
I mean, if that doesn't open your eyes, I don't know
And
what
would she have
would.
killed her brother if he hadn't killed himself?
I think if her rage was great enough, she might have, but I think her rage is greater at her own
Oh,
husband
sure.
because
Yeah.
she thinks of him as the person who set all of this in
Yeah,
motion.
and he betrayed her, whereas her brother
Yes,
did not betray her. Her brother was
right.
generally awful, but
Yeah.
it's less specific.
Yeah. Plus, there's also the thing of he is her brother. So at some point, despite being the moral compass of this movie, she is also someone that is probably going to protect her brother because he's her blood.
I also don't think she's the moral compass. I don't think there is a moral
Okay.
compass in this
Right.
movie. And I say that because, and again, maybe this is a subtitle thing. After the scene where Omkara has thrown Dolly against the bed and she's really hurt herself, right? And then she's crying outside,
Mm,
and Indu says, "Did he hit you?" And
yeah.
she, Dolly does not say no, but
Hmm.
doesn't say yes right away. And then Dolly says, "He hit me out of love," which is the most
Right.
revolting of, of these kinds of things. So that there's where we know Dolly is done for, if we didn't already
Yeah.
know, right? If you didn't know this
Yeah.
story, I think that that's um one of the key moments. And Indu's like, "Oh, yeah, grandma says you got to keep these men slightly hungry and everything like that." And you're just like,
Yeah.
I
Because
realize
can
for
you,
Indu's morality, she is her own compass, but I think for us, she might be the closest we get.
yeah.
I mean, honestly, like Billo is the moral compass, right? Because she's sees the men for who they are and
Yeah.
very reticent to get involved, right? Because he proposes and she's like, no, no,
Hmm.
no, no. But then, so really, it's like Bill, but
Yeah.
Indu is for her own self, but
Because at the end of the day, Indu is also a victim of that same patriarchal setup. Like, I guarantee you, in that scene, if because they're not married yet, remember?
right,
So
right,
in that scene, if Dolly had said, I'm having second thoughts about this
right.
marriage. I don't know if I should marry your brother. Like, he hit me. Sure, it was out of love, but I don't know. I feel really bad and maybe I should go back home or something. I kind of feel like Indu would be like, hey, I've been married for so many years and these kind of things happen.
I agree.
Which woman in this village hasn't had fights with her
That's right.
husband? That's how men are. Men
I
will
think
be
that's what
men.
she would say. Yeah.
It's okay.
But also, I suspect Indu would assume that Omi would go after her and kill her if she did leave. So, in her
Okay.
own weird way, is she protecting Dolly? Ooh, I don't know. But
Maybe.
Dolly has no out. Once she
No.
left her family and goes with this guy, because they're not going to take her back, because they're going to assume that she's tainted or whatever bullshit.
Mhm.
Uh, and
Well,
they're
also,
not gonna,
her dad is not a nice
and her
person.
dad's horrible. So, I mean, unless she could somehow find a job because she has a college degree and like have an apartment with girlfriends or something, but like Dolly's pretty stuck too. And
I
Indu is
love how
much a woman who upholds this system, right?
yeah. I love how our solution to every single thing is always, girl, you have a college degree, go to a different city, get a job. Live your life, get a cat, get some books,
Yeah.
have some friends, stay away from all the men.
Put bunk beds in the bedrooms of the flat if you need to, but everybody gets their own little space and you pay your share of the rent and
Yeah.
make your own life. But also Dolly is, you know, naive and romantic, or else she would never run off with a gangster in the first place. So,
Right. You have to. I also wondered about, like, because there's a scene where Omkara also says, like, to her, like, I don't know if you're Lalu, like, if you're stupid or if you're a witch, if you're Chudel, which also I was like, wow, that's a red flag thing to say.
right?
Like, those are the apparently the only, like, it's so binary. a woman can either be incredibly stupid or she's so smart, but smart in a cunning way and a shrewd
Right.
way that she's a witch. I was
Right.
like, sir, there we contain
And
multitudes.
so
There
which
are,
one does he class his sister as? We see their relationship a little bit, but not a ton. So like what does he think of Indu?
that's interesting. I
I
don't
think
think he
he would,
thinks she's stupid,
right, I think
but
he
I
thinks
don't
she's a
think she's a
witch. If those
witch.
are the two options, I think he would
Right.
go witch,
Then
but
she's a witch,
maybe
yeah.
he makes a third option for family.
Maybe. But yeah, he says that about, and Dolly asks him, why do you say that I'm either a stupid person or a witch? And then he says, you're stupid because why would you fall in love with me? Like what do I have going for me? And you're so special. And so the fact that you fell in love with me means that there's you're stupid. And I was like, yes, actually, for the record, you are. Like, what about this man is attractive to this girl whose father is a lawyer? And
Right.
she is it do you think it's just like teenage infatuation, kind of like he's the
Mhm.
strong silent type, or like she's attracted to the bad boy,
Mhm.
kind of? Or maybe there's a part of her that thinks that men being gangsters is sexy and attractive, which is very questionable. But
Right.
like, would
Right.
Indu be happy marrying, say, another filmy character? Would she be happy marrying Surinder Sani, Punjab Power, Lighting Up Your Life from Rab De Danji Jodi? Would she be happy marrying that guy?
I think it's possible, but only if she felt that she could manipulate him and make her own life sort of despite him or around him, which I think she could.
Mm,
I don't think he's any ma as clever as his stupid scheme is, she's smarter.
okay.
Don't you think?
I don't know.
But I also agree with you that I'm not, or agree with the idea that I'm not sure she, I mean, look what she's raised with, right? If that's her brother, like this is how she thinks men are, probably. She's never seen anything else.
I know.
She probably lives next door to the house she grew up in, right? Like,
Right.
oh,
Terrible. Terrible, terrible.
I know. I know.
I refuse to open a Philby Ladies ice cream shop in this location.
Well, I was actually thinking, I'm like, okay, what horrible bitter flavor do we make? Do we
Something with
make?
cyanide in it.
Right. There's no ice cream for
Something with
Omkara.
poison.
Yeah.
Something with anthrax.
It's such an amazing film that it deserves to be commemorated in our ice cream shop. But maybe we'll just hang up a poster. Don't eat anything flavored like this because you will
we
die.
could we could have a flavor for like Billo. It would be something sparkly and cute. It would be the Billo Chaman Bahar
And
special.
there will be no BD in the ice creams. That's
No.
bad.
It would be something sparkly and
Would
like,
have to have
with
salt, right?
bark
Because she
over
has the
it.
namak song, so there'd have to be a
Maybe
little
she's
sugar.
like sea salt caramel.
Not showy enough. Needs to be
No.
showier.
It it needs to be something very fancy and exuberant
It's
and
the sundae with
adorable.
the sparklers in it, so like it's
Yeah.
Lele.
It's the celebration ice cream that you get when you're celebrating something big and you want to have a party.
Right.
Okay. Did you have any lasting thoughts on Omkara?
I I if I've said this before, I apologize. I think this is an amazing film to show to people who have never seen an Indian movie before. I think it would translate extremely well, partly because its source material is going to be more familiar to, okay, I'm assuming the people that you're might be showing are from Western cultures in some way or other. But as we said, I think this is a pretty universal and human nature oriented story. So
Yeah.
I think this would translate. You don't have to know about UP bandit culture or whatever to appreciate this film, right? Uh, you need
That
to
sounds like a good band, UP Bandit Culture.
you don't need to know about, you just need to know that there are corrupt politicians who are criminals.
Right.
Gosh, where would you ever have learned about a thing like that?
Right.
You
I
need to
mean,
be able to
thugs and
imagine such a
scoundrels.
thing, that there are horrible men in power who do horrible things to everybody, themselves included, and that people, it happens to be men, but that people are jealous, and it's can be incredibly easy to light that fuse and fan it into something horrendously destructive, and that people will act in what they consider their own best interest in ways that baffle the outside. So I
Mm.
think, this is an excellent starter film. I would say that of his other Shakespeare films as well, but I think this this is my favorite of the three. I think, despite the fact it does not have Taboo in it, who would have been
Right.
good as Indu. Although I
Yes,
do not begrudge Konkana it. She was amazing in that role. Um, but yeah, share this movie with your friends.
right. It's amazing. I know this movie is never categorized as like a mafia movie, but I almost think of it
Oh,
as one.
should be. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Hmm.
What are they if not a mafia?
Right.
Yeah, they're gangsters. They're gangsters. They're just, you know, what did I just call them? UP bandit
Bandit
gangsters.
Club. UP Bandit Club. Okay. Um, I think that concludes this episode. So,
I do want to say one thing, which is that
yes,
our the very likely the next episode for this podcast is going to be about a movie of a very different quality. I just want to say
yes,
that. So brace yourself.
for sure. Yeah, we like to keep people
Mix it up.
exactly. We like to keep it exciting and fun around here. Okay, well, thank you for watching this episode on Omkara, and happy birthday, 20 years.
Mhm.
Amazing feat. And tell us what your thoughts are on Omkara and what do you think about Langda Tyagi, who your favorite characters are. What do you think of the women? Do you think that the Filmi Ladies Ice Cream Shop should have a Billo Bahar special? Because we are definitely going to have that on our menu. And then we will see you next week. Thank you for watching. Bye.